Oh, you're both being really glitchy, and I don't know why. My connection is awesome.
I'm gonna check my settings. Okay, my microphone is set to my Yeti. Yeah. My Yeti.
What happens if you were to just disable your video? Because that does eat up bandwidth in a connection.
I'll check and see. I am running a wired connection, but I don't know. Let's try it and see what happens. Does that make any difference?
Say a few more things.
A few more things is what I am saying to you with my mouth words.
Well, you were being a little glitchy at first, but you're sounding better now.
If it's glitchy, it might just be the thing catching up. I'm going to try with Audacity just to be safe.
Actually, I should disable my video too. There we are.
That's it. Headphones, cover. Testing my microphone in Audacity to make sure I'm not clipping or doing anything ridiculous.
Yeah, you're coming in great now.
All right. My microphone sounds perfectly fine, so whatever the issue is, it's either a network connection or whatever.
How am I sounding, by the way?
It's like a jerk.
As I said before, I'm still on my goddamn Beats headphones.
You sound like a jerk.
I'll take that as you sound great, Alex, but I hate you on a personal level.
Oh, well, I'm trying to be a little bit nicer than that, but sure.
Well, let's see. I'm so disappointed that my snowball just stopped working, and no matter what I do, my fucking laptop won't recognize that piece of shit.
Have you tried with different USB cables?
I don't have a lot of USB cables to plug into the back of a snowball, so no. I know it works in other computers.
Okay. So, are we ready to do a thing?
No, I'm not going to be ready for like another hour. No, I'm kidding. Let's go.
Jason, are you ready?
Uh-oh.
Boy. Now he's muted.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God, Christ. Don't do that.
I was saying I'm going to sneeze. Then I sneezed.
But you didn't.
You didn't hear me? I don't apologize.
Christ. Okay.
For the record,
what is all this sound? What is going on here?
I did just touch my microphone on my headphone. That's probably what that was. Oh. Unless you're referring to that buzzing in the background. I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Where is Jason? We need to start. First he complained about me being the one that was holding things up, and now this.
Well, Chris, you are now coming in glitchy again, so I think it has nothing to do with your video.
No, probably not. It probably has to do with one of our... It probably has to do with one of our things.
It can't be mine. My connection is amazing.
Sure it is.
Hey, it's like 20 Mbps. That's pretty damn good. 29 Mbps, I meant to say. 29. You know, those Toon Links are a lot cheaper on eBay now. I think the whole Amiibo thing has really died finally. I'm going to buy one.
I mean, here's the problem. You say that, but it all depends on what's out and what's coming out. Because...
Well, those Toon Links for the Smash Brothers line were going for like $100 for months.
Oh, you mean specifically those? Okay, yeah, that was because of Zelda. I mean, that was because of the Zelda game.
And like I'm talking about even before Breath of the Wild came out, like last December when I was trying to complete my collection for Christmas, and that thing was just Jesus.
Well, I have my Player 2 Corrin on the way. And it's, I guess, as long as the Amazon order sticks and it ships the beginning, or it gets here around the beginning of next month, And then I still have my Majora's Mask link and Skyward Sword link on import that are on their way.
That reminds me, I should probably buy my
And then I'll have a complete set again.
all my amiibos. I've actually completely been ignoring that. I'm gonna get both Bayonettas, of course, as well as Player 2. Oh, hey! Well, Player 1 Bayonetta is on Amazon, but Player 2 is stupid expensive.
That was I was
Are they what?
lucky enough to get my Best Buy pre-order in for that one, so I was very pleased.
So what are some of these like retail exclusive or something?
Oh dear God, you didn't know?
I heard about it, but I kind of didn't care enough to really look into it.
So the standard versions are everywhere. However, Player 2 Bayonetta is Best Buy. Player 2 Corrin is Amazon. And Player 2... What was it? Cloud was GameStop.
Well, the only player I am interested in Player 2's Corrin and Bayonetta, so I guess I'll go seek those out if they're available.
Let's see if this works.
That works. I can hear you.
I had to leave and come back. The stupid mic wasn't working.
Oh boy.
Can you hear me now?
Your mic sounds much better now.
That's because I took it away from the computer.
There we go.
As far as I could.
I'm also not hearing any fangs or anything, which is amazing.
That's because I took the mic away from the fans as far as I could.
I got some fun stuff in.
I lost my notes since I had to put it in, so I had to do it again, all over again.
Okay. Do you just need me to copy and paste, or do you have them?
I have them here. I could just copy and paste here.
Okay. I've got filament in so many pretty colors. So many pretty filaments.
No one cares.
I care. I care quite a lot.
Yeah, but you aren't me.
I know. That's why it's important that I care. All the colors of the rainbow, and then some.
Come to me, Bayonetta. Come to me.
Oh, I'll have a Bayonetta after this podcast because I got one ordered from BestBuy.com. I'm gonna go pick it up when I go pick up my dinner.
Cool. So these things aren't stupid rare or something?
I saw the Player 2 one at Toys R Us yesterday or the day before, and I didn't have the money at the time.
Lovely.
At Toys R Us? Bayonetta? That was a Best Buy exclusive.
Wow, I think
no, it's Player 2. It's Player 2 Bayonetta, not Player 1 Bayonetta.
I know. Player 2 Bayonetta was the Best Buy exclusive.
The short hair?
The short hair is Player 1, you boob.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The short hair is Player 1. Okay, the Player 2 is the one I'm picking up then.
Wait, is it? Yeah. Wait.
Player 2 is the one I'm picking up at Best Buy.
I don't remember, and at this point I don't
care.
Player
1, the short hair one, is the one that was at Toys R Us.
Hey. Let's make a podcast.
I don't want to make a podcast.
Are you recording the show yet?
It's recording. It's been recording for quite a while.
Great. A whole bunch of nothing. Not like anybody watches anyway.
We are not a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah, okay. So let's get going in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 46th episode of Sonic Talk. Just after Comic-Con, I am with you as always, Jason Berry. And with me as always again is Alex Peel. Got your camera. I got to give it back soon though. You'll get some Sonic Mania manuals with it.
I only need the one. I want you to be responsible for sending out the rest.
Oh yeah, sure. Pay all that money for the shipping and handling. Well, it's mainly a manual I could stick in an envelope, but still.
I hate shipping things, Jason.
Well, so do I.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but like, I'm not you, so.
Anyway, also with us tonight, as almost always, is GX Echidna. Say hi,
Let's get
GX.
on with this. I wanna talk about foil stickers.
What the f are foil stickers?
You
Shiny
know what they are.
stickers.
Huh?
The
Just
kind
shiny
used for
stickers,
drugs.
Huh?
Anyway,
That sounds very boring.
first up
that-
is our usual small talk of what we've been playing or seeing or doing or what have you. GX is excited for a game he's been playing. Do you want to start, GX?
Yeah, I'm agitated because apparently you aren't paying attention to Nintendo Directs and you don't know what Ever Oasis is, which is a freaking awesome game.
I am also ashamed of you, Jason.
So this was developed by Grezzo, who people would best know for their work on the two ports of the Legend of Zelda games to 3DS, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And the best way I could describe Ever Oasis is it is a simplified Zelda combined with a simplified Animal Crossing. It's definitely doesn't have the depth of either of those games, but it is a little bit the more of a sum of its parts. Effectively, you are a seedling, a little desert person, and
Aww.
you have come across the last water spirit in the desert, and as per your species, your job is to build an oasis around it because that's an actual livable place in the desert. As part of that, you have to go out into the desert to gather materials and follow up on rumors to find more people. And then those people will visit your oasis. And from there, you can complete quests for them to convince them to stay and do things like set up a shop that other people can buy stuff for, which you get a cut of their profits. And they can be equipped as other party members whenever you go out to actually get through and explore the world and go through dungeons. Because like I said, this game is part Zelda. It's full of dungeons. They're simplified. They're not as complex as a standard Zelda dungeon. But it is fun to explore. Has tiny puzzle solving sections that are pretty basic and simple. The best and worst thing I can say about this game is this game is really, really fiddly and really, really micromanagey, which
Oh my.
some people will really like that about it, and some people will not. I fall on the side of kind of liking it, because a lot of the game is going back to your town, re-equipping your people to achieve a certain thing in a dungeon, because each one has different special abilities. You actually have to restock your stores with supplies, or else they can't make things to sell, which cuts into your profits and makes them less happy, which also influences your hit points. It's a weird thing where all the systems are weirdly tied into each other that you kind of have to pay attention and juggle all of them. And as you go through, they'll give you more and more tools to actually do that. You'll start getting people in your town that can actually automatically restock stores for you if you just talk to them, or people who will automatically tend to your gardens, things like that. It's fun. It's very fiddly. If you don't think you want something where you have to just micromanage everyone until they give you the tools to do that, then you're probably not going to like it. But otherwise, it seems really well designed. It seems basic but fun, and I think if you consider this maybe the last big hurrah for the 3DS, it's a pretty good one.
I admit it. This is the game that's been on my list that's been on my radar for a while. But for me, it's not that I'm not playing my 3DS, although I'm not. It's just that I guess don't really have much time for any additional games lately. Like lately, I've kind of been all about Splatoon 2 and some retro stuff.
which is actually a game I wish I could be putting more time into, but unfortunately, I've only really gotten a couple levels into the single player of Splatoon and done absolutely no multiplayer whatsoever. How far have you guys gotten, or what have your guys' experience been with it?
I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, it's definitely Splatoon.
I've gotten to the third world of the campaign. I enjoyed.
Yeah, that's where I am.
I enjoyed the campaign in the original, but this one definitely feels a little more varied and involved. And while I do think the campaign levels of the original game were well designed, I think that there's definitely some big improvements here. There are more weapons on display, and
the little grappling hooks thing you can do with the paint, and like the way you can open up little grinding rails made out of paint that you can just grind on and shoot the balloons and jump over the what look like onion rings.
It's a very cool, stylish game, as you would expect from a game that's always telling you to stay fresh. Well, that's technically not the motto in this one, but you know.
My only problem with it is that the money side of it, like collecting those orange orbs, takes forever to help you upgrade your weapons.
Yeah,
it takes forever to get enough cash for that, and I don't know why that is, why they designed it that way.
I have begun to notice that. Go on.
Based on what I've seen on some of the menu screens, I think what they're expecting you to do is to do a lot of level replays with different weapon loadouts, just because they actually mark on the menu screen which weapons you've used to complete each of the single-player levels.
That's actually something I've begun to start doing before I move on, because I've noticed that it's very hard to grind for money. So I have been trying things out with like the splat roller and stuff.
Yeah, as far as a multiplayer goes, I'm up to level 11. I'm getting my butt kicked. Not because I'm a bad player, but because a lot of my team tends to stink sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
It's like
not
zero.
Their fault.
Oh, there's that one guy that has like 0 P who's basically not moved the entire match.
Yeah, that happens every now and then.
I will say it does feel almost identical, the original, in most ways. There's barely any differences except for that horde mode that you can only play locally and at certain times instead of being online.
It's not only locally; it's online.
It is when.
Yeah. So it's online.
I've never seen it online.
It's always online.
Salmon Run?
Yeah, that's the only way I've played it.
I have never seen that one online.
My basic flow with this game is I will go in, I will play a bit of single player, and then I will usually probably go and do a few salmon runs. Then I'll finish off with about 5 or 6 multiplayer matches.
So to clarify, Alex,
and it's a very
Salmon
nice,
Run,
very experience.
have they specified a specific schedule for Salmon Run? Because they did announce that Salmon Run was supposed to be only online at certain times.
Salmon Run, it's only online from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., and I'm pretty sure those are Eastern times. And this is really stupid because that's
the time everybody works.
When you work, this means that if you have a regular 9 to 5 job, you can only play like in the morning when you're probably trying to get ready and have breakfast and shit. So
I wonder why that is. That just seems like a really weird design decision to me, and I'm curious what exactly their logic for that would have been.
I imagine it's the same logic that gave us that awful Switch app.
Well, I mean, the premise behind the Switch app is not bad. It's just that they need to develop that and fix a lot of issues with that, more specifically background use.
They need to completely get rid of it and just do what Microsoft and Sony have been doing since 2006.
Technologically speaking, I don't think that's going to happen because that's an OS level design thing, and I'm guessing they built things around not having to do that in the OS. So I think if that's what you're hoping for, you're going to be sad and upset. I think there is a absolutely perfectly fine way to do the app but you have to have it at least on par in feature sets with something like Discord, with something like Skype, with
You can't even let the phone screen go to sleep.
Exactly. That's design-wise, that's not acceptable for apps in 2013. And it's it's 2017. That I don't even what are they doing that can't happen? That seems like something that could be
This
fixed
is Nintendo being Nintendo.
No, that's not Nintendo being Nintendo. First off, that's also a DNA issue. But that's just design 101 in 2017.
I agree with the whole Nintendo being Nintendo thing, because Nintendo's never been especially good at their online infrastructure. I mean, going all the way back to the Wii and gosh darn friend codes, which it kept all the way up through the Wii U in 2016. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not surprising to me. It's just disappointing. And thankfully, I don't generally care that much about voice chat anyway. But the way that the friend invitation stuff in Splatoon 2 works is ridiculous, because if you want to play with your friends, you can only play with your friends. You can't form a party and then go out and play with other random people. You can only play amongst the people that you've invited, which, like, look, I love you guys platonically, but like I kind of like playing Splatoon with 8 players, you know?
Now, I think it is worth mentioning first and right away that this is us talking about it in its current state as of July 27th, 2017. As we saw with the first Splatoon game, things change as they go forward. They work on developing, they open up a lot more options. I'm hoping that we see a development in a lot of these features that we expect from a multiplayer game this year as it continues forward. But those are some things that they absolutely need to work on.
Question regarding the original Splatoon. Did they completely revamp how, like, friend invitations and playing worked in that game?
Well, you didn't need those freaking codes like you do again. Now you need the codes again.
What are you?
Wii U, you didn't have to have codes.
What? Are you talking about Splatoon?
No, I'm just talking about online in general. But I mean, this game,
you need friend codes on the Wii.
Well,
I don't remember that.
Well,
okay. Stop, guys, because I think you guys don't understand actually what you're talking about. Okay, first, with the Wii U, you could look someone up through username.
Oh yeah.
In the Switch, you can use friend codes, or you can look someone up that you have friended on any other Nintendo ID type thing. As long as you have them attached to a as long as you have them as a friend in any other Nintendo online system, like Mario Run or Miitomo or anything like that, then it will import. Otherwise, yeah, friend codes are an option.
That's something I expect to change on the Switch. But I remember the Wii U always requiring friend codes for adding people to your friends list.
No, you can look someone up by name.
Huh. All right. I guess that's something they changed.
I thought it was there forever. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. I guess I'm misremembering. Good. But now I was asking about the original Splatoon. If they revamped how friend invitations worked in that game.
And I don't recall offhand. Like, it might not. It all depends.
Because I know that they added additional modes. I know that they added additional levels and content. But I don't remember them completely revamping how, like, online gameplay and invitations and stuff work, which is what they'd have to do for this.
It still feels and looks almost exactly like Splatoon 1 in a lot of ways.
Yeah, we know. But is there anything really wrong with that?
They still do that stupid map scheduling, which I hate.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
Are you kidding? You know how many times I had to play Moray Towers? I got so sick of playing Moray Towers, I couldn't stand it anymore.
well, like the alternative is having maps randomly come up and people voting on them. And let me tell you, as an extensive Halo player, you will get the same map over and over again pretty often with that kind of system. So, like, as I say, like, at least with this, there's a guarantee that you will get to play through every map eventually.
Jason?
Yeah.
Conversely, the other solution is get friends.
Yeah, I don't want to have friends. I don't like friends. So, we ready to move on to Sonic stuff?
Sure thing.
All right.
By the way, Alex, when you do that salmon run, is it on with the same area where the versus battle is, or is it in the arcade?
I mean, it's you go into the shop that gets gated off. When
the arcade.
I don't.
So there's a shop that's gated off.
It's in the back. They said it was a shady area. I don't remember it being an arcade.
Oh, see, this is the stuff I didn't even know.
But yeah, like you just go into the back, that place that someone said looked shady. You go in there and you play online. It's like it's the first thing you can select.
Alrighty, well, let's move on to Sonic news, because God, did we have a lot of Sonic news to talk about.
Oh, good God. Some of it was kind of depressing.
Yeah, we could talk about the final chapter, the very end of Archie Sonic. We now know it's official. Sega announced it. Archie never said a thing. In fact, I hear people who subscribe to Archie Sonic, Archie hasn't really been responding. I think the back is still available for purchase online as far digitally, but other than that, Sonic's pretty much gone from Archie for good.
Well, is there any back issues or stuff still on their online storefront?
You know what? I could check for you.
Or I can check faster.
Yeah, you can, because my keyboard's kind of separate from me.
But we should all probably have a unedited moment of silence in memory of the Archie Sonic series. Yeah.
I will remember you.
Jason, I said moment of silence. You horrible monster. God, you couldn't let have some dignity in the end, could you?
Yes, you can still purchase back issues for the time being, and they are advertising up to 70% off all Sonic and Mega Man graphic novels.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Which is good, because there's a handful that I just happened to miss and probably need to get.
I should probably go out
now while you can. Because once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah. Well, at least the ordeal is finally over. And for me, like if they just announced this in February, it would have been a heck of a gut punch. But thankfully, they let us on for months and months and months, allowing my hope to wane slowly. And so now that it's finally been revealed what's happening, it's just a little hit instead of a gut punch. So I kind of appreciate that, even though really this whole thing was just really poorly handled. The communication here was just atrocious, and I understand that maybe Archie probably couldn't have controlled how that was being done, but Jesus Christ, man! Like, I've never heard of another comic book company doing something quite like this before. And admittedly, that's probably because I'm not focusing on those companies nearly as much. But still, usually when a cancellation is going to happen, it just like happens, often when the comic book is still running.
And considering how long that this comic series has gone, 24 frickin' years with Archie.
Nearly literally 25 years and 300 issues. We're so goddamn close.
And it ends unceremoniously, sadly.
In the middle of 2 arcs, a halfway point.
Well, at least Sonic Universe had its final issue of that arc before it ended.
Oh, I thought that one ended in the middle.
No,
too.
the Chaotix Curse
Good.
of the Herald of the Pirate Princess or whatever that ended completely before.
Well,
it
I need
stopped
to
doing
finish
issues.
this one.
So
That.
that brings us to next year, whenever the new publisher will be picking it up, and
IDW.
IDW,
Which I was actually at their offices the day before the announcement, just by coincidence, because they have a little tour area where they have a gallery where you could check out original comic art and stuff.
have they given any indication yet what kind of direction they might be approaching it from?
Nope. All we've only heard that they are looking at both new faces, and they are looking at potentially bringing in veterans from past Sonic projects.
I think the way to look at it is maybe to look at how they've been treating their other comic licenses. And that's like, I noticed with like Godzilla and I think Ninja Turtles, a lot of them are miniseries and done by different talents in that. So it could be kind of like how we had Sonic and Sonic Universe, where there could be 2 or 3 miniseries series going on at the same time. They like to have a lot of graphic novel books collected in a pretty short time.
Though they do.
So
also,
that's a possibility.
They do also have their share of ongoing series. Like, I know they have a couple of Transformers comics going, and they do My Little Pony too, right?
Yeah, they do My Little Pony.
Yeah, and My Little Pony. I'm pretty sure that's also an ongoing, although I think that's also had some.
No. Okay. It is ongoing, but much like what Jason said, everything is all tied to, here's this small story, which might be a couple comics or it might be a single comic. Also, here's this side project that is focused on, here's one story about a thing. And it's all different writers. It's all different artists. And some are definitely better than others. And some are
I get that with Godzilla.
really bad. And some are basically glorified fanfic writers and not good fanfic. I am talking about fanfic in a derogatory term whenever I refer to them.
Well,
So-
hopefully this will be handled more along the lines of Transformers than My Little Pony.
Well, like that's kind of like when I collect the Godzilla books because I'm a Godzilla fan as well. And yeah, the first one they did was done by Eric Powell from The Goon, and it was terrible. It was an awful miniseries that went on for 12 issues, but then they got other stories going, and sometimes they'd have 2 or 3 Godzilla stories going on at once, and some of them would be meh, and others would be really good. So that's a possibility. You could be seeing several Sonic stories going on at the same time.
So
and not just a coherent, straightforward arc.
So we do have our first name for the comics creative team. That's Joe Hughes, who only joined IDW back in June. Now, Joe Hughes, he owned a Forbidden Planet in New York City for a while, then went to work for DC Comics, and then he was an assistant editor on DC's Vertigo imprint. And then in 2012, he left to become the editor-in-chief of Comics Alliance, which was, I guess, for the people who don't know, that was a major comic news site until it closed earlier this year. So, as near as I can tell, he hasn't. This is kind of his first big gig as the editor of a comic book. So, there's no telling how this might go.
So what we're basically saying is this is kind of going into unknown territory here,
and virtually every way. I think we don't know how IDW is going to handle this. We don't know how much they're going to adhere to the old comics. Like, are they just going to completely throw out all the old comic book characters, or
there is one thing I can say about IDW though, that I can talk about something a little bit historically, something that they have generally been good with, particularly referring to Ninja Turtles and some of their I think they did some Cartoon Network stuff as well.
Yeah.
I believe they've done a lot of, I guess, trade paperbacks of things that they themselves have not published, which maybe gives a little bit of hope for continued publishing of the Archie trades.
Yeah. Although, Jason, you want to tell us what Ken Penders?
Ken Penders said there's no back catalog without my say so. He's saying.
And you want to know why, Chris?
I got to a big argument about him actually with that. Not like a shouting match, but I was arguing with him a little bit while I was there, because I was saying, well, what about the reboot where they didn't use any of your characters? Well, you got to remember there's Robo Robotnik, and I'm like, no, wait. At the end of the thing, all the characters that were losing their memories in the reboot, and they completely lost their memories. Eggman's origin is completely changed to the video game's Eggman's origin. He's not Robo Robotnik anymore. But he's still going to argue that if IDW wants to publish the back issues, he's going to fight that.
So basically, what you're saying is he's even more a sociopath pedant than even I initially thought. And I initially thought he was a pretty big sociopath pedant.
He's like the most evil liberal I've ever seen, because he's very liberal-minded. He's in a lot of areas he's a good person, but when it comes to this book, he's obsessed with it, and he just won't let it go. And he's also been complaining, I guess, that IDW has been publishing old Star Trek issues that he wrote and drew, but he hasn't really been, contesting that. And I think if they start the trade paperbacks with Eggman, he's not going to do crap, because it's not like when he copyrighted his characters. He can't copyright that Eggman.
You cannot copyright. You cannot copyright Robotnik in any fashion. Sega owns Robotnik and Eggman.
But this is Robo Robotnik, who is a completely
He is Robotnik from another dimension, who is the exact same Robotnik, except from another world that took over for the other.
But he's the Sonic Adventure Robotnik. They created him in the image of a Sega character that they created.
I know. And you know what? Even if that was to happen, there is a ton of Sonic Universe stories that don't feature any of his characters or Eggman that IDW can publish. But IDW tends to focus heavily on new stories more than old ones for trade paperback. Like the Godzilla ones, there are no Dark Horse Godzilla trades coming out of IDW. The ones that like Art Adams, if you ever seen his art, it's incredible. He's one of my favorite artists. He did a lot of Godzilla. I haven't seen that over there. I've only seen the original stuff. So it's possible they might just work at the original stuff and leave the Archie stuff behind. I'm not sure.
I hope not. I mean, personally, my dream is
oh my God. So let's talk about Ken Penders. This is probably going to be the last time I'll talk about Ken Penders, because since Archie's dead,
so help me God, no, it won't be.
It's not going to be the last time. Like I thought I was over Ken Penders, and I'm not anymore. He's pissed me off again. Go on.
He showed me his
I just
app,
find it funny. I just find it funny.
He shows me his app, which has voiceovers, very blasé voiceovers, and sound effects. Sound effects. I immediately said, "No, this is from Star Trek." He goes, "Oh yeah, that's just a placeholder. I'm not using the official Star Trek sound effects." But it starts. This is a prologue he's planning to put out at the end of the year for the Laura Sue Chronicles. Not the official full book, but a prologue, like a 8-page prologue, because at least it's something. I mean, he's been working on this for over 5 years or so. But at the beginning of the prologue is he's reprinting Mobius 25 years later, with Knuckles, with King Sonic in it. But he thinks he can do that because he wrote the story.
Okay. I want him absolutely to do this.
Yes.
And he
please.
says not only-
Specifically because
his argument is he's given it out for free, the prologue, to advertise for the app, and if he feels that if he does this work for free, puts this out for free, they can't legally do anything.
because that's how fair use works. Because that's definitely how fair use works.
That's not how fair.
And what I don't understand is his wife is a lawyer. How is he getting the law so wrong when his wife is a lawyer? Not only that, he says he wants to reprint all of the Knuckles back issues and miniseries. He thinks he has the right to do so. Which I'm thinking, if he does that, what about the paying the artists and speakers and everything who worked on those books? Is he going to give them a small amount?
Hopefully not.
He also says that if every copy he sells, he'll give a percentage to Sega, so it's all good and legal.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
It's beautiful.
I'm
not as beautiful as this recent drawing of Sonic from Comic-Con. Has anybody seen that?
And
yes.
And
oh my
everybody
gosh, it was horrible.
everybody bear in mind, Archie failed to stop him.
Yeah, they did. Which is probably part of the reason why they're dead right now.
What I don't understand is he could be a good artist on that book. He used to draw back like 10 or 15 years ago when I was still going to Comic-Con. He was there. He would do sketches of Sonic and Sally that actually looked decent. But lately, he keeps putting extra detail into that work. He puts
Jason
and these bony knees and everything. Just let me talk for a second.
Okay.
And so he over details these characters to the point where they look terrible. When if he just did a simple 2D drawing, it would look a lot better. Okay, now
I'm going to abbreviate everything that you just said into one simple phrase that's very easy to understand. He's George Lucas.
Oh yeah, he's Frank Miller even. That's something I've actually compared him to.
Frank Miller is terrible on a bunch of different levels that Ken Penders isn't.
Yeah, Frank Miller is worse than Ken Penders. I'll give you that.
He's an outright bigot. At least Ken Penders ain't that.
Ken Penders and us are on the same page. I'll give him that.
Well, look,
and you know what? I'll give Ken Penders this. You troll him on Twitter or you argue him on Twitter. He'll be real polite and calm and argue back without what should I say? Banning you from his Twitter or anything like that. He's very mild tempered and everything. So
he just doesn't live on the same earth as we do.
Yeah, he drives me nuts in certain areas, but at the same time, I have a certain level of respect.
I mean, the law is complicated, and we don't know exactly what kind of deal they struck, but I would find it very hard to believe that he can just reprint whatever he wants to without having to consult with the other rights holders of those books.
Oh, yeah, well, the cover, he has a writer friend that was sitting on the booth next to him that he did a cover for a Superman novel that he didn't get permission from DC to sell, but he's selling it anyway.
Wow.
In short, comics are weird, and they're done by weird people, and some of those people are great, and some of those comics are great, but the depth of bizarre situations and quasi-legal lines that they kind of cross are always delicious.
Now,
some people can't let go of the past too, because I think having to tie this to Mobius 25 years later instead of just being a more original thing and starting from the very beginning is going to hurt things more and make things more confusing than help him in the long run.
I want him to kill off Sonic in his free thing, and I want to see how that goes.
Now, getting away from Penders and back towards the actual comics. I do deep down really wish that IDW kind of just went with continued the reboot that Ian Flynn started, Even though I know that's very unlikely because of the Switch and publishers. It's just such a shame how that ended.
The tough part is they have to build it off of something. And right now, Sonic as a series is really, really scattered, which honestly is something I really like about it. They could just make things that are sort of like the games, or sort of like just short stories that have to do with Sonic characters and stuff like that, and have it not necessarily be attached to anything specific. But that would be real hard. That would be harder than continuing with what they have, given I don't know necessarily what the legal ramifications of continuing with that would be or would not be. It may sound...
Go on.
It just sounds... It may sound weird, but because Sonic as a property is so fragmented between all of its things, I just don't know necessarily how you put things together to make mini-series stories to do that. I'm sure it's quite possible. In fact, Sonic Shorts does stuff like that a lot. But it's real weird. It's real weird considering that it has a legacy of going on for 24 freaking years.
Well, I mean, wasn't like Sonic Universe basically just a series of mini-series?
No, Sonic Universe was stories about the characters other than Sonic.
Yeah, but it was like a bunch of mostly standalone 4-part stories.
Yeah, they were all standalone 4-part stories. That's something that IDW will probably grab onto, is to have all these big collection of graphic novels that they
were. But the problem was they were all linked to the Archie universe, which means that, and some of the time they even attached it to that universe and to the stories that were going on in the main series. They left little hooks to say, well, this character is splitting off, go buy these other comics to figure out what they're doing until we bring them back into the main story.
Except Sonic Mega Drive, which was completely based on the games, and I think they can bring that over with no problem and finally finish the trilogy of those.
Yeah, we never did.
Only 2 of them.
It's such a shame that like it looks that if they really do abandon everything Archie was doing, that we're never going to get the final issue of that.
Yeah,
maybe they will, maybe they won't. We don't really know. Anyway,
like the art's probably done for that stuff already.
Another Sonic news. There was a ton coming out of Comic-Con, which I was at, so I got to see quite a few things. I missed the whole Dome Video thing where they were showing off the 4-part Sonic Boom Robots in the Sky story. I didn't get to go to that, which was too bad, because then I heard like Greg Hahn and Bill Freiberger and everybody was at that. So I'm kind of bummed I missed that, but that's because I was in I decided to get to the panels for the Sonic panel extra early so I can get the best seat I could to record the panel itself. And I think that worked out really well. It also worked out well for the concert. So if people have been on Sonic Stadium and saw my review of the Sonic concert, you saw 15 minutes, 15-minute like brief overview of all the songs that they had there. And I actually had a really good angle for all of that.
Yeah, you did, and you recorded the whole thing.
Yeah, but we can't show, unfortunately.
Well,
as far as I know.
Aaron has shown some interest in it.
Aaron wanted me to give it to him for Sega to look at, because they might use a promotion. I don't know what exactly is going on with that right now. But it was an incredible concert. I mean, I've seen Crush 40 quite a few times, and there was even one people doing a concert at our first Sonic Revolution out here in LA. But this one was probably the best. I mean, they had so much energy and so much passion put into this.
Well, I imagine
excellent.
I imagine this is the first time we've had an actual concert, rather than a series of on-stage performances separated by other going-ons.
Well, that's true, because if you think about it, when you see a Crush 40 concert, it's just Joey and June, and June's doing the guitar, but everything else is pre-recorded, like drums and everything. This is live drums, live trumpet, live saxophone, 2 regular guitar and bass, keyboard, and a lead singer. So
I will say that their lead singer wasn't quite as good as.
Oh, I disagree. I thought he was great. I mean, he had quite a bit of range.
He was good, but like he didn't quite manage. He couldn't quite hit the highs of I forget his name. Crush 40 guy. Come on, help me out here.
June
Sinal?
No. Crush 40 guy.
Joe Giovanni, I think it is.
Yeah, wait. That doesn't sound quite right. Crush 40 guy. He doesn't quite have his range, but he did still do most of the songs that I heard on in your highlights pretty well.
I mean, he did a female, singing role, and that was pretty incredible. Plus, he did "Reach for the Stars," which is normally only done in a tone box.
Yeah. The female song that was the Tails one.
Believe in Myself.
Believe in Myself. Yeah. Ooh, that's what I'm looking forward to hearing.
Yeah, so I and plus he was really playing up with the crowd, running around and everything. I think Dave Ross did a great job.
I imagine
I enjoyed the hell out of that.
I imagine like him being able to do that, play with the crowd and everything is one of the big reasons why it's better than any other performance you've seen.
Yeah, it was also kind of fun seeing Jun Sano. He was. At the beginning, they were having a bunch of different trailers for Mania and Heroes, and they showed the latest one with Infinite's theme that he composed, and I could see Jun Sano just off stage, way over on the left, and he's head banging to his own theme and getting into it.
That's good.
So you can tell he has a love for that music.
I mean, so like I always feel a little guilty when I enjoy Sonic music, but gosh darn it, I enjoy that butt rock. Although the Sonic Forces theme, that's actually more of an anime opening, from which is kind of unusual for a Sonic song.
Yeah, if the whole Heroes feels like almost Sonic X-ish in the way it's like we got this Mania, which is a celebration of classic Sonic, where Forces is more like a celebration of modern Sonic, because it's got all your characters that all the kids love and what have you. It's a 3D one, and of course Mania is all classic, just Knuckles, Tails, and Sonic, and a bunch of levels. Speaking of Sonic Mania, I did attend the panel. Of course, I waited through several different other panels before that. And I got the best seat I could. I live Skyped with folks at TSS on their Skype, and then they tweeted out the news. I was taking pictures with my phone camera while I was recording with the other camera and trying to do zoom ins and zoom outs and pointing at the screen and everything, which that was a heavy multitasking job. I'll give you that.
Yeah, big thanks to our favorite Canadian Sonic Stadium member, Jeff, aka Visitor Jeff Hogg. He was a huge help by handling your stuff on Twitter.
You know what I realized after, though? I mean, I didn't know at the time that I would have had a good connection. I ended up having a great connection at the show. I could have logged on to Sonic Stadium Facebook and did Facebook Live and just used my my phone as a camera as well as the actual camera.
You could have live streamed that shiz.
Yeah, I could. Now I think about it, we could have live streamed it.
Comic-Con technically doesn't want you to do that.
That's fun. Oh yeah, that's true. They do have a thing where you can't live stream it, but you can record it and play it back later.
Although I would wonder, like, would they catch you?
Well, that's the thing, though. Is I asked around, it was if it's okay, to record the concert. Is it okay to record the panel? And like, unless they state otherwise, it's fine.
Really, you asked? Oh well, I guess
I asked around quite a bit. I didn't get an answer from Aaron or anybody at Sega directly, but I asked at like different Comic-Con panels and everything, and different Comic-Con people, and they were like, it should be fine. I mean, unless they say otherwise, it's probably okay.
So how was the panel?
Well, you probably all saw it. I mean, I took pretty much the entire video on.
I know, but like,
but it was fine. Yeah, I mean, the crowd was live. There's one guy booing when they mentioned that our IDW got picked up by Sonic because, of course, he was an Archie fan.
yeah,
And you can't blame him a little bit for booing, but his numbers about it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great seeing them all up there. The biggest reaction was the glitches, especially the Eggman one where it dropped him into a crane machine. There's like a billion Eggman instead of the balls and everything. And of course, the other one was the reveal of the special stage, which uses not only a bunch of graphics from
Sonic and
assets.
Knuckles.
It uses a bunch of assets from previous Sonic bonus stages, like the blue orbs from Sonic 3 and the fish from Sonic 1, but it's also the graphics of a Sega Saturn bonus level, like from Sonic.
Like it's got a fully 3D polygonal Sonic, but like in this really old school style. That's so cool.
I know.
So then, dare I ask, is this going to be the very first good Sonic special stage?
Hey, you shut up.
Hey, Sonic 2 is still the best, I think, of the special stage.
That's really sad.
That is a lie. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the best.
Oh, I hate
a profound lie.
That is not. I have a lot of fun with those.
Oh, I did not. Actually, have you played GX? Have you played Knuckles Chaotix and its bonus stages?
Knuckles Chaotix is all right in its bonus stages.
I enjoy those bonus stages.
Because I think it's a little bit like that, because you're on a flat, like Mode 7 graphics play,
Oh no, that's not Mode 7. That's like
it's flat polygonal.
Sonic CD isn't bad either if it's not just hard as balls.
You know what's weird though? Low poly Sonic from the Saturn area has a bit of an appeal to it compared to how he looked in like the PS2 era.
Sonic didn't really exist in that era. I mean, they had 3D
Sonic
Blast, which was a sprite-based Sonic, and there
was the 3D level from Sonic Blast. There was Sonic.
There was a Sonic 3D Blast special stages. There's the Sonic Jam 3D
Sonic
World.
Jam, yes, the Sonic Jam 3D
Sonic
World.
R.
The problem is
Sonic R and Sonic the Fighters, if you can count that.
No one has nostalgia for that, though. Like, that's the era that they didn't.
No, it's not about
the big
nostalgia.
Sonic game,
I think it's about the art style of the way they looked back then, where his,
No, but I'm saying that people aren't necessarily looking for that because Sonic wasn't really in that era.
I think that Sonic Mania is less of like an. I think that in this case, it's trying to sort of act like a 32-bit 2D Sonic game, which is visually something it really does look like.
Yeah, I don't think it's not about nostalgia's sake. I'm saying that it looks appealing because back then he looked simpler in the low poly look, and like the way his quills jutted out, and he had more of a classic cartoon look on his face that I liked as well.
Sonic Mania is effectively a cocained up Genesis game. I mean, I don't think they're going to make any design choices that are going to go way outside there, like having a polygonal version or something.
Well, except for the 3D level, which is a polygonal version.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand what you were saying then. I thought you were saying that it wasn't. Never mind.
No, it is.
That seems weird then.
Yeah, it's the 3D. Yeah, the 3D bonus stage is kind of a tribute to the old Saturn Sonics as far as the way he looks. He's chasing down a little robot that's grabbed the Chaos Emerald, and he's collecting blue orbs, I think, for extra speed.
That is weird. I'm looking at pictures. That is weird.
It is weird, isn't it? Like you got the fish in the background from Sonic 1, but you got the blue orbs from the Sonic 3. But you got a flat playing field and a low poly Sonic.
I don't know if I'm okay with this.
Oh, I am super okay with this, so I'm okay enough with it for both of us.
I'm curious,
because this is something that they were able to run off the software, and they said didn't really push it, the hardware no matter which version you get. And the other thing with Mania is they finally said what the length is going to be, and they said it's going to be close to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Not Sonic and Knuckles by itself, not Sonic 3 by itself, but Sonic 3 and Knuckles together.
Nice.
That's impressive. That's
I don't think it's going to be like exactly that long, but
They said
maybe
around that length, so it could be a
around
little
that length.
longer or
If it's like 75% that close, that's still a long game.
shorter.
The problem is it's going to be like 3 acts to a world, right? Or is it 2?
I'm genuinely not sure.
So far, I've only seen like Green Hill Zone has had 2 acts and a boss that they've shown at convention, so we don't really know for sure yet.
Okay,
Yeah, we've only ever seen one of the other 2 stages.
That makes a difference in terms of in thematics.
We also know that Tyson Hess will be doing the intro and animated intro a la like Sonic CD, very close to that.
That I am excited about. That is one of my favorite. That is one of my favorite Sonic styles, like of anything. Is that Sonic CD intro.
I hope IDW hires both him and Yardley somehow.
It's that Sonic CD intro followed closely, or no, not followed closely, but followed by probably Sonic Riders. The Sonic Riders intro, animated intro.
Oh yeah, that's a good intro.
Yeah, probably one of the best parts of that. Probably the best part of the whole game.
Not probably at all.
Hey, I said one of the originally. I had to correct that.
I guess the final thing I'll mention for Comic-Con is that Sega did have a booth there, but it's obviously they didn't spend a large amount of money for that booth because it was smaller than my bedroom here, maybe half the size.
So
they put. What are you talking about? They put labels on Jones Soda. What more could you ask for?
It was like 2 tables put together and like 4 monitors on one side for Mania, 4 monitors for Heroes on the other side. But the Mania ones were all Xbox One. The Heroes one was the PS4 Pro version because that's the nicest looking one. But playing Mania and going to the line for Mania was very easy because you just go in and then you're right in front of it and then you can go out. The problem is, pardon me, Sonic Forces was almost completely against the wall. A curtain for that next to the other 2 booths. So when you went by there, you had to push and shove and move around other people. If somebody was playing when you first came in, but there was a available monitor way over near the exit, you had to go, excuse me, and get and just squeeze.
Really improve their booth design.
It was, yeah, because it's worse than, like I said, it was worse than Atlas was 2 years ago when you and me went there and we were crushed.
Wow, it was worse than last year's Atlas. Oh my God!
I had to push myself against the table just so people can get by me. It was way too cramped because they didn't get a big enough table. Maybe they ordered a booth way too too late in advance.
Yeah,
they didn't order it in advance. That's probably what they could have done.
Aaron couldn't even tell us that they were going to be at Comic-Con when we were at E3, so this was probably pretty short notice.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. It's a short notice, so it was a small booth that was close to Nintendo, who was doing Mario Odyssey, which was not at Nintendo's Lounge. I got to complain about Nintendo's Lounge this year, though. Oh, my God. For some reason, the crowds have never been bigger than this year. I don't know what's going up. But then you had to wait. Unless you got there early, you had to wait in a long line just to get into the lounge. And then once you got into the lounge, they wanted you to play. They gave you a stamp card, and they wanted you to wait in line for 8 different games to stamp on before you got a prize at the end, which was either a T-shirt, a classic Mario amiibo, or something else. But
isn't that what they normally do?
Yeah, but to this case, if you want, well, normally they do. I thought it was they wanted you to do the 4 main games and then 4 of any other games you wanted to play. The 4 main games were Splatoon 2, Pokken Tournament, ARMS, and Mario Kart 8. But in this case, it was just whatever game you wanted to play. But every game had a super long line, and I was
Even the
there for
games that have been out for months or
I was
years.
there for like 3 hours, and I'm like, oh my god, I got to get to the DuckTales panel. I was like 3 games away, but I'm like, okay, I got to go. And even then,
There
I
was a
ended up
long line for Mario Kart 8. They know they can play that on the Wii U, right?
That was a long line for Ultra Street Fighter 2 just because they wanted the stamp.
Oh my god.
I did play
Alex?
one new game. I did play one new game called Flip Wars, which I guess is coming to the Switch. It's a multiplayer. It's kind of like Bomberman meets Othello, where you're constantly smashing down on
We're going way off
pan-
topic right now.
panels that would change color, and you're trying to get the most colors on a grid. But you get 4 other players playing against you. It was cute,
All right,
but
all right.
very shallow. Anyway, what were you going to say, GX?
I was going to ask Alex, what is this Wii U you speak of? I don't think people own that.
Well, it's the Wii that's within all of us, Chris. It's the Wii that's within all of us. That's what that is.
Yeah,
We can
no,
all
so
play
they
Mario
could,
Kart
so
8.
they could play Mario Kart Wii. I understand now.
No, well, like this is like, yeah, sure. It's Mario Kart Wii.
Anyways, we'll start getting close to wrapping up here. We found out that there's 3 different Sonic children's books coming out. in
And one of them
2018.
comes with foil stickers.
yeah,
Of course.
stickers.
Well, they are children's books, so that's to be expected.
That's important. It's not.
Okay.
It's not a children's book unless it comes with some sort of sticker, preferably foil. Sometimes smelly stickers, but it has to come with stickers.
So one of them is Welcome to the World of Sonic, which comes out on March 6th, 2018.
I believe that book will establish what the IDW canon will be.
really.
No, no, it won't.
That's the one with the foil stickers.
What
Then
the
you got-
heck are they gonna write in that? Like, I couldn't even tell you what the world of Sonic is like because it changes every game.
Yeah, like there hasn't been any consistency in a while. Like,
Especially in the video games.
yeah.
And then we
And
got
I
Sonic
love that.
Mad Libs.
Okay, I believe that would also be called the script for Sonic Runners. That was basically a Mad Lib.
Yeah.
I mean, they barely wrote it. There were a lot of blanks in there. There were periods of time whenever it just glitched and all the text would be question marks. I consider that a Mad Lib.
Well, what I'm most interested in is the Sega coloring book.
Yeah, there's a Sega.
Stuff from the Genesis
Before I
and
go for
Master
the other,
System
talk
eras.
about the other book, there is a Sega coloring book that's coming out, done by Patrick Spaznati, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
I mean, there is no better person to make a coloring book or Sega art in general.
Yep.
But I mean, the core question is, can I color Jet Set Radio?
Possibly.
I'm just wondering if you're even gonna be able to color the lines, because like his stuff can be super detailed.
I really want it to be like a children's style coloring book that has all the weird captions at the bottom and maybe just a page of Ryu and a capsule machine. That seems like that needs to be a page.
I just want Panzer Dragoon. Anything Panzer Dragoon. Patrick Spaziente's big on that old school Sega stuff, so I'm crossing my fingers.
There's
Genesis and
going to
Master
be a dot to dot puzzle of the outline of the space or the airship, that kind of stuff.
I forgot that this is the book, as I recall, specifically says Genesis and Master System. So no Jet Set Radio or Panzer Dragoon, I think.
But I want my coloring pages of Yakuza.
Well,
Where
maybe-
else am I going to get that?
Maybe if this sells well, they'll do Saturn and Dreamcast.
Where am I going to have the childlike caption underneath a man hitting another man with a bicycle? Where am I going to get that?
Or House of
I
the
could
Dead,
just
or-
have Corey draw something.
What was the name of that series of first-person shooters on 360? Or there was a horror first-person shooter where they were like these oil people. That was a Sega game.
That's dang, it's on the tip of my brain. Damn it. I don't remember.
That'd be funny if they made coloring pages of that game.
Will there
yeah.
be
House
will
the
there
Dead.
be a Burning Rangers spot the difference?
I think over a House of the Dead coloring page with red blood specified.
Right. The other book I forgot to mention was Sonic and the Tales of Deception, which is meant for ages 7 to 10 years.
Oh my!
It is 3 different stories with color illustrations. And let's see, it says Sonic may be the fastest hero in the world, but he's got to keep moving to stay ahead of Dr. Eggman's evil plots. In Sonic and the Tales of Deception, Sonic and his friends save the world from Dr. Eggman and his cronies in 3 original stories. Yeah, original. It's pretty much the same thing over and over again. This set of short stories with full color illustrations is the perfect introduction to one of the most beloved video game characters of all time. It is a must-have title for longtime fans eager for new content.
Condemned, that's what it's called. Condemned.
I want to know, does Sega have a Sonic Story Bible? Does that exist? I've never been convinced that they do.
Very early they did, but it's gone so far from what they had.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ken Pontac wrote something.
I mean, in the early Sonic Story Bible, he had a girlfriend named Madonna who looked like Madonna.
Yeah.
But that was
human.
pre-1991. Like, what is it now? What is freaking Sonic? What are they going to tell story? If you were to tell me they were doing the same thing with Mario, I would be baffled.
Well, Mario's world is pretty inconsistent, except for it's the exact same story over and over again.
What is anything? I don't
Chris, I feel so bad.
Speaking of Mario Odyssey, what about Mario Odyssey where there's a cartoon Mario interacting with normal-looking humans?
Well,
they're looking very much out of Sonic Adventure.
Well, according to game theory, they're actually 10-foot-tall giants.
Okay.
What?
What about Pauline?
I hate the internet.
These are 10-foot-tall giants, Jason.
I hate the internet so much.
I think Nintendo actually confirmed Mario's size. It was supposed to be like 5 feet, 5 foot something, or 6 foot.
Like hell he is.
So that's what Nintendo apparently said.
For that to be true, Mario compared to us would actually literally need to look like the costumed character that they pull out at times for promotional purposes. Like the Smash Brothers commercial for N64 would have been to scale. What the hell is going on? That
he's a cartoon plumber that saves princesses.
Sonic is not allowed to have a story since Sonic 06. They lost those rights and they've stuck to it pretty well.
I think the stories they've had have been pretty lighthearted stuff. I mean, I still enjoy Colors. That's actually one of my favorites of the Sonic story games with a story.
But do you know why I like the Colors? I like Colors because most of the writing of that game was Mike Pollock saying dumb things in the background for like a solid half hour.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was lighthearted. You didn't have to take it seriously or anything. That's one of my problems with Sonic Forces right now. Where now we're already starting with a bunch of egg robos burning down a city and everything, and it's getting all drama and stuff. And
well, as I understand, they've said that that's going to be the one of the darkest levels in the whole game. So,
well,
right.
I don't know.
Show don't tell. Show don't tell.
All right. Anyway, speaking of Sonic Forces. In the UK, at least, pre-orders have been showing up, and it's showing up cheap. It's not the normal 60-pound range, but from like 30 pounds up to 45 pounds, which is kind of interesting.
33 pounds. It's 33 pounds to 35 pounds for the PlayStation 4 version, and then the Switch version has been shown for £45, which would
Why would the Switch version be more?
because it's a cartridge game, and this isn't the first time this has happened to Switch multi-platform games.
Oh, good lord!
But
anyway, that averages around like $39 US.
Yeah, about $40.
If that holds up, that shows that Sega may not have a lot of confidence in Forces, especially compared to Mania.
I think it's going to be hilarious if I wind up paying more for Sonic Mania than I do for Sonic Forces, which right now I'm currently on track to.
Yeah, and Jason and I have as well.
You mean as far as collector's edition?
Collector's edition, yeah.
Yes.
And at the moment, there is no collector's edition of Forces available.
Oh, Sven has his collector's edition. I guess he showed a picture of it. That thing is massive.
Yeah, that thing's like supposed to be a foot tall, that statue. It is.
I'm glad I invested.
I don't know where I'm going to put this darn thing.
Yeah, that's one of my problems. I kind of wish I hadn't pre-ordered that because my room is very, very cluttered, and I don't know if I have a spot for that anywhere.
Well, eventually I'm going to have room because I'm going to be opening up my little video game house in my backyard soon enough. But until then, that thing's just going to like have to go on top of another game box, like my Super Nintendo or something, my Super Nintendo box. But yeah, so it does look like this thing's going to be a little more budget price. But this isn't the first time that this has been done for a platforming game. Like Ratchet and Clank was also $40. Lex, remember?
Yeah, but that was a recreation of the original.
Oh, that wasn't really a recreation. That was like a brand new game.
Well, it was like brand new, but it was based off the levels and everything from the original. But
I mean,
redone.
Let's be serious.
Basically,
this is Sega looking at what their market is and what they think it's going to sell, and adjusting in such a way to make sure that it does sell. I think that's 100% what it is. They've done it in the past where they've sold Sonic games at a slightly lower cost than the standard.
Yeah. Like
I think didn't Lost World come out at $49.99 instead of the $59.99?
It did.
Yeah.
Also, if you look at All Stars Racing, that came out under price. It's I think it's just one of their strategies specifically for Sonic, thinking that they are more approaching a younger audience or a more price-conscious audience or an audience that is skeptical of Sonic.
That could be a good strategy. Something I've noticed with the Sonic games lately is that if they come out at like $50 or $40, they stay at that price for a little while, but then if they drop, they only drop like $10 or so. Like, I think the first Sonic Boom game is still around $30 at a lot of places. Or it's 20, and then Fire and Ice is 30 now instead of 40.
I think culturally speaking, they don't have the ground to charge $60 for a Sonic game right now. I think culturally speaking, where Sonic is at, what the people who like Sonic and the way Sonic is treated within gaming culture, it's just very difficult for them to say, no, this is the same tier as everything else, as much as they may actually want to.
Now, Chris, I have a question for you. Now, as I recall, you are getting the Switch version, right? At the moment,
I will. I mean, I could get the other version, but why? I don't know.
Well, say the Switch version is $10 to $20 more. To rethink which version you're getting.
I mean, it won't really matter because I'm going to get it at Best Buy where I get 20% off anyway, so that's barely a thing for me.
It would affect me if it's more expensive than the PS4 version, because I have a PS4 Pro, so why not have the best graphical version at a lower price?
Because it's not portable.
Yeah, but I mean portable and at 30 frames a second, possibly.
Well,
yeah,
one thing I wanted to talk
about something. Yeah, go on.
Something I wanted to talk about is one of the things I was mentioning to Sega Rep at Comic-Con. It's the same one that hosts the podcast with Aaron Weber, the official Sega Sonic the Hedgehog YouTube podcast. I don't know his name right off the bat, but he was saying they're still trying to optimize that engine for Switch, and they want to get the Sonic Forces on Switch at 60 frames a second. It
That
might
would be
not
very
happen,
good.
but at least they're trying to make that a goal, which I think is pretty cool.
I actually really need to report that on Sonic Stadium. I should do that tonight. But yeah, I hope they manage it, because if it's gonna be more expensive, it'd be nice if the frame rate was at least the same with the cheaper versions. So
Okay, and I think that's going to be pretty much wrapping it up for us.
Yep.
I thought this was going to go on longer than it did because we had so much Sonic news to talk about, but
Also
I
because
guess
it
not
always
really.
goes on longer than it should.
yeah.
yeah, even when we have barely any news, it usually goes on longer than it should. But this was only like an hour and a half, which is a short one for us for a change. Well, actually, our shortest is usually about an hour. But
Well-
anyway, I have a little announcement. If you have been listening to this podcast all this time, leave a comment on the link at sonicstadium.org. If you are in the US, I will send you a Sonic Mania introduction manual. Just leave a comment, and then does Sonic Stadium have an official email?
I think it does, but I'm not sure what it is. You probably should have asked this in the Sonic Stadium chat before we started this.
Okay, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and edit this part out. And we'll figure out some other way to give out those manuals.
Oh, I was looking forward to seeing if we'd get any comments.
Well, we got to figure out something ahead of time.
Jason, you do realize, although you might not be able to see it, never mind.
What?
I was going to say, you do realize people have to type in an email address in order to leave a comment.
Oh, so they would have their email address there, and I'd be able to just get their...
Maybe not
the
publicly,
problem is I need their physical address.
Well, couldn't you just
And they'd have
contact
to email me. Huh?
This is something to figure. Yeah, this is something to figure
this
out.
is something we got to figure out ahead of time before you decide to do it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
let's just go ahead and edit this part out.
Now, Jason, I do have a suggestion. When you do send these out, you really should include some sort of backing boards with them.
That means I gotta buy up some cardboard and cut them out and everything.
That way they don't get all bent up.
Logistics aside, while we're still online, which is something we could absolutely talk about when we're offline.
Well, aren't we basically done? I guess we should say our farewell.
Well, let's okay, edit in 3, 2, 1. Okay, and that's gonna be it for us on this episode. It's actually a bit shorter than our normal episodes, but I guess that's a good thing, even despite the fact that we had so much Sonic news to talk about. So we'll probably see you in another month. Well, we'll be discussing the heck out of Sonic Mania, which all of us will have played by then. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Alex or GX?
No,
Foil
I'm
stickers. Foil stickers.
You and your stickers. Nah, I'm good.
Put them on your Trapper Keeper.
Or your
Chris,
laptop
no one
or
uses
something.
Trapper Keepers anymore. Shut up.
You gotta put your stickers on your Trapper Keeper. Where else are you gonna put it? You gotta have that nice picture of the CG car on your 90s Trapper Keeper, and it's gonna be covered with stickers of the bands you like and of the games you like, and just random banana stickers that you peeled off.
When I was a kid, I stuck all my stickers on a bookshelf next to my bed. I could stuck them all on like one side of the bookshelf. It worked perfectly fine.
I had a Supersonic sticker on my laptop before my stupid sister went and broke it.
Hey,
I was hoping to take the Comic-Con so I wouldn't have to put out the panel and concert footage so late.
Yeah.
But oh well.
And I'm annoyed by this because I gave you that laptop.
Yeah, it was originally your laptop.
A somewhat gift. I mean, as I recall, it was pink because it was like an emergency laptop I bought at E3.
It was blue.
At E3 at the cheapest price I could find it for, and then I
blue
gave it to you
laptop.
for a cheap price.
Well,
Minor technical logistics. This is what you come to Sonic Talk for.
Well, I'm
Okay,
sure
let's wrap this up.
Jason
Come
will
on.
edit
All
that
right.
out.
So we'll see you all later. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Oh, yeah, I got to figure out the whole giveaway thing because that's going to be such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, especially since I have completely sworn off that duty, which feels so good. I'm usually the person who has to send out that shit.
I'm good.